In this video, I will show you how Tevmo plugin collects energy model, calculates cooling loads and how to analyze calculation results using Tevmo Visual Report. First, we create HVAC file and attach the architecture. We prefer to work with connections because if the architecture changes during the work process, then we simply need to update the connection. Then we create levels, they will automatically come from the architecture. Next, we add some common parameters and input calculation settings. For example, we input the temperature in the internal shafts which are automatically detected when the model is collected, and select typical floors in our building. This function helps us input initial data in multi-story buildings. Then we create spaces. We have several options to work with spaces, and now we create them by rooms from the architecture file. After that, we need to tune our model and fix some inaccuracies in the architecture. We need to delete some unnecessary spaces and add the missing spaces. Now we see that Revit doesn't want to add spaces because the boundaries of the rooms are incorrectly defined in the architecture. We simply add space separators to solve this problem, and after that we can add spaces. This is a parking level and not all spaces are conditioned. In order not to calculate heat input into these rooms, we must select them and set the temperature in unconditioned spaces to 35 degrees. We also check the "Do not calculate cooling loads" box. We have placed all the spaces and dividers on the parking level and now move on to the upper levels. Here we add some parameters necessary for the calculation, such as internal temperature, information about lighting, people, electrical equipment. Let's fill in the parameters for the two spaces. Also, we add some parameter that is responsible for grouping spaces into individual systems, which will be combined in reports. We do this for one general level only. Then we copy spaces with the filled parameters to typical floors. And we see that the copied spaces already have all the parameters and we don't need to fill them in again. Now we can collect an energy model. This is how the collected energy model looks like. We see that one floor has been skipped because it is typical. In this model we can select any surface, space, or system that we have previously set up and check all the information about each of them. Zones and spaces are selected by simply clicking on any element that belongs to that zone or space. In the left corner you can see the information for each element. Next, we open Tevmo plugin calculations in Revit, and now we're looking at automatically generated user surfaces types. We can click on any of them and all elements of that type will be highlighted on the model. Walls, windows, slabs, all of them. We determine all these elements automatically, which saves a lot of time. In this project we have curtain walls that are recognized as walls, but we need to change them to windows. This is easy to do. We need to switch to the Imported Surfaces Types tab. This tab contains all the collected information about surfaces in this project. Here we must replace all types with name that contains curtain to window assembly type. After that, let's refresh the model. Then we can see that the curtains now belong to the windows. This way we can assign any user's type to any imported surfaces type. Next, I will show you another way to work with the model. If we want to add an additional type with different parameters, for example a new window type with shading, then we just need to add a new row in the table and enter all the parameters. Then we select the required elements in the model. This can be easily done by simply clicking on each surface. And then we can assign them a new type. After selecting the required surfaces, we can ensure that they are assigned a new type. We see that now the selected windows belong to the new created type. Now we can move on to the calculations. We push the calculation button and switch to the model. Here we select the report model. We can see our energy model, but now it is colored red and blue. The red color means that heat gains are coming into the space through this surface. The blue color means that heat gains are coming from the unconditioned space, in this case from the parking. If we click on any surface, we will get access to all the information about the heat gains through that surface. Now we can see that the floor on this level is red, which means that there is an unconditioned space underneath. On other levels the floor is white, which means that there are conditioned spaces underneath. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.